Hello and welcome to IT Tech Talk. I'm your host, Joel Ward, and tuning in with me is Frankie. Frankie, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
I'm good, just a little tired. It's been a busy day. Work has been pretty hectic where I work. So
Great.
yeah, how have things been for you?
Very well, very busy, but doing pretty good.
Good. I've seen your live streams. I think they're pretty cool. I actually give you some hearts and stuff whenever I can, whenever I'm tuning in. Yeah, yeah. So
Thank you.
so for my listeners, you're a TikToker. What is your TikTok? Like what do you do for TikTok? Like you're an influencer, a content creator. What do you label yourself as?
So I would label myself as mostly voice actress. My main thing is breaking into the voice acting industry. I love doing fun voices. I've always wanted to be in animation, so I would label it as voice actress.
Could you give a sample of voices to like for my listeners if you don't mind?
I have no problem with that. Thank you. My name is Piper. I'm about 5 to 7 years old, depending on the day.
Honestly, that's my favorite voice. I literally, when you introduced Piper on your TikTok, I was like, this girl needs to go on my show. Like this is like this
Right?
coolest girl. I told my girlfriend, I was like, I'm having this girl go on my show today. She's a TikToker. And she was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, I thought I told you. And she was like, I think you did. I was like, yeah, she is like really cool. I think she's like the coolest TikToker I follow. So yeah, so I was really excited to get you on the show. So
Thank
you
you.
consider yourself a voice actor. So you wanted to do like cartoons or like did I see something that you said you're going to be in a cartoon or something?
Yes, actually. It is unreleased at this time, but I did work with a company in Switzerland, a studio. I cannot say the name just yet because we don't want anyone looking for the page yet. But I did work with them, and I am actually a scary little teddy bear character. It's really fun.
That is so cool. Like look, even my little show, like I'm like sometimes when I get picked up by big time like these publicists and stuff, I'm just like, cool. I didn't know that I was that big enough to get these people on my show. Like people are reaching out to me now, and I get like I'm
Right?
getting sponsors. Like sponsors are actually reaching out to me, and I'm very picky
Love
about
that.
sponsors because I'm like I have like a particular I don't know, like, I've never thought about putting ads on my show. I just recently Anchor, the company put my show out through, reached out and said, "Hey, can we put our ad on your show?" And you like, since you use our app so much, I was like, "Sure, I'll put your ad on my
That's so
show."
exciting.
And I was like, "That's awesome," but, like, it's like, I didn't wanna put paid content on my show because I like my show being open, but now it's like, when I'm being offered all this money, I'm just like, do I really wanna say no to you? So that's so cool. I think that
Right,
is really
right.
cool that you got to be on, like, a little show. So you're like a scary teddy bear. Like, okay, so do you know who GMAT is?
I don't.
Okay, he is an Australian streamer, and he actually went on my show, like, in the beginning of my show, and he's so cool. Like, meeting him in person, it's like meeting, like, because I listen to his podcast, I listen to his show, I watch his Twitch stream, like, all this stuff, and, like, it was so cool to meet him, so it's like, I'm kinda, like, nerding out, like, getting to meet you. It's like I'm actually gonna meet, like, a content creator, like, influencer. It's kinda cool. So, like, okay, so I, like, have all these questions. So
Yes.
what do you do, like, what do you do, like, as your regular job? Or is this your full-time job? Like, do you just do, like, TikTok as a full-time job, or what do you do?
So I wish, I'm hoping to one day make TikTok a full-time job or get something that spirals from TikTok, like maybe a voice acting job. I want something more permanent there, but it's actually not my main job. I have two other jobs other than TikTok. I'm a social media coordinator for one of my auto dealership companies, and I also work at an alternative health store. It's really fun. I love both my jobs. They're completely different than what people see me doing on TikTok, but it's a lot of fun.
I would never have pictured you doing those jobs because I honestly
Yep.
felt like you were strictly TikTok. Because like, the way you portray yourself, like, I feel like you're just, like, that kinda influencer who's literally on the
Thank
screen, and,
you.
like, behind the scenes, you're, like, this normal person, like and that's why I think a lot of people don't realize is a lot of these TikTokers and even, like, Instagrammers or YouTubers, they live, like, normal lives, and it's like, but I see you guys doing less content, I'm like, "Wow, you have all these followers." I'm like, "I wish I had that many followers." And it's so cool seeing you do all that, like, cool content stuff, and, like,
Thank you.
it's not like I idolize you, but it's like you got like a whole nother level. Like you started out probably like with 50 followers and then you had all these followers because you like have great content. Like your Piper voice, like that's so freaking cool. Like
Thank you.
I think my kids like my voices, like when I do funny voices for them, but like it cannot top the Piper voice, like at all. So like I literally was
My son's favorite.
my son literally the other day, we were watching your videos and he was like, "Daddy, that girl sounds like a little kid." I was like, "That's because that's her like her thing she does." And he was like, "That's so
Yay.
cool." I was like, "Yeah, I know, isn't it?" He's 6, so he's very impressionable.
Oh, I
Um,
love that.
so you said you have a kid?
I do. I have a son. Yes.
Okay, okay. So what do the Piper voice for your son?
All the time. It's one of his favorite things. I actually, so I'm the voice of Scribble Spot from I'm Not a Scribble here on TikTok. Well, on TikTok. This isn't TikTok. um, but he loves watching the videos that I make with Spot because it's my voice
Okay.
and it teaches kids how to control their emotions and stuff. And
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah.
his favorite things.
So is it like a kids thing? It's a kids show then.
Yep, it's a kids show, a kids little TikTok thing. They have it on YouTube, but it's a
Okay.
kids show on TikTok right now to help teachers and parents teach kids and kids teach kids teach kids learn how to control their
Okay.
emotions.
How do you get into stuff? How did you get into all this stuff? What made you like? Did you just start TikTok one day and just said this is gonna be my thing from now on, or what got you started?
So what got me started initially? So I initially was getting on Fiverr and kind of putting my work out there, and that is a place for buyers to meet people like me, influencers, voice actors, and hire them for stuff like that. And I originally started out on Fiverr, but I have not updated it since. But I mostly have just been reached out to through TikTok marketplaces where I've been found most of the time.
That's so cool. So basically, people just reach out to you with like kind of like what I did and like pitch their ideas,
Yes.
pitch their shows, stuff like that. That's really cool. So okay, I have to ask. When I reached out to you, I actually reached out to you on TikTok, but because we're not
Mhm.
followers, because you don't follow me, you didn't get the message. So I was like, maybe she has an email. So I looked for your email. So what made you actually want to go on my show? I mean, without like thinking, because some people are like, oh, it's a tech show. No, it's like it has that tech name, but it's an entrepreneur, influencer, content creator show. So what made you
Mhm.
want to go on my show, not knowing like anything about me?
So I'm going to be honest. Um, I had actually done only one podcast before this
Okay.
ever. And I had done that. And I actually really enjoyed that someone wanted to ask me questions and just get to know me.
That's awesome.
So when you reached out, I just thought it was really awesome that someone else wanted to get to know me. And I
Yeah.
just figured, if you're going to take the time out to ask me to be on your show, I have no problem with taking the time out of my day to be able to answer the questions because I'm just always grateful when anyone wants to get to know me.
So I've never asked that question to people who've gone on my show, but afterwards I'm kind of like to certain people, I'm like, so what made you want to go on my show? And they'll usually tell me, they'll be like, same thing you told me. They're like, the fact is someone was actually interested in wanting me to go. That was in the beginning stages of my show. And
Yep.
now that like now I've got all this equipment and like I've got my girlfriend has her editing station next to mine.
Ooh,
It's like we have this whole
power
new like
couple.
we just painted the wall, like everything's like it's a professional studio now. It's like, it's great, and it's, like, weird
Hmm.
because now all these people are reaching out to me. I have people who are like, "I heard your show and, like, the person on your show was life-changing, like, I learned so much." Like, hearing that and, like, getting
Yeah.
emails or, like, even, like, messages about my show, it's like I'm making a difference, and I actually published 4 books. For people who don't know, like, it's like they're like, "Wait, you published 4 books, you have a podcast, you work full-time, you have 3 kids, like, how do you manage your time?" It's a lot. It's a lot managing my
Yep.
time. And I have to keep up with TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I have to keep up with a
Yep.
podcast channel. It's a lot of work. And I'm sure you know that. So I wanted to
A
ask
lot.
that. When you create your content, is it just you creating it? Do you have like a kind of like a your boyfriend help you, or do you have people like who help you sometimes? How do you get your content created, or do you just do it straight from your phone?
Honestly, I do it straight from my phone. I do use editors like CapCut, but I actually do my videos completely by myself. I do not have help with any videos. If I need to record anything that is like me not holding the phone, I just set up a timer. I've just kind of always done them by myself just because I always have a sense of direction. And I never want to overcomplicate it asking anyone to help me because then I'll direct them too much.
Yeah, that's fine. The only reason she does some of the editing is because there's certain things that she's really good at. like
Yeah,
creating some of the ads to the show. Like one of my new intro for YouTube, she made that whole intro, and I was like, this is really good. And I'm like,
I love
my
it.
intro, I'm just like delete. I was like, it looks stupid. Like, but
No.
I can edit the videos for the show and piece things together and make it look real good. But like
Yes.
things where I have like transitional slides and stuff, like she made it transition so well, and it just was so great. And it's like
Oh,
when I met her, it was like, it was really great because it was like she's a graphic designer. I was like, well, I've never dated a graphic designer before. So she does a lot of content for the show and she's willing to help and she thinks it's so cool and she supports me. And I'm like, it's great. And it's like, but like even looking at like I have the screen up over here and like I have all like the data from the show and the analytics. And I'm just looking at and like because I was before you're on the show, I was looking at I was like, holy crap, like a lot of people listen to the show. And then it's like, and now I look at like your listeners and like how many people watch your show, like TikToks, and like how many people like your things. I'm just like, I want that. Like, I want to be to the point where people are
yeah.
like, my show is ever. I mean, I'm in other countries. Like, I know Australia listens to me. People in England listen to me. I've had people in Russia, which whatever, listen to me. But I have all these people listening to me. It's like, what the heck? Like, I didn't think I was like, like actually the data's coming in. Like, people are listening to me. It's like,
Right.
I remember I started out with like 30 listeners and I was about to give up. And my buddy who got me into the podcasting realm, he was like, dude, 30 listeners, that's pretty good. I was like, yeah, but it's 30 listeners. I was like, I'm just gonna give up. He was like, dude, wait till you hit your like 90th episode and you've got like the hundreds of listeners. And now I have
Yep.
like close to like 600 listeners. And it's like, yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's 600
Yeah.
listeners. And it's like, I see your numbers and I'm like, but it's not like thousands of listeners, but it's like people are still listening. So yeah,
No, seriously. It's just like when I'm live on TikTok, I don't get like a whole lot of people in my live, but
yeah.
what matters is those are genuine people that want to know about you. It's not always about how many people are there, but the quality I've noticed. And then you find more quality people.
I've been told if you're wondering, like, your people aren't commenting on my posts or anything, or like they're not making like they're not liking something. Sometimes having no likes and no comments, like negative ones, are better than wait, how am I about to say it? Having no negative comments versus having a comment is better than anything. Like it's just like on my books, like no one's reviewed my books, but people have read them. I see how many people have bought them and read them. I'm just like, so the fact is, no
Right.
one's left a bad review. So it's like, if no one's left a bad review, then that means I'm doing something good. And that's how I look at it. It's like,
Yep.
yeah, I'm not live streaming yet. And it's like, no one's like, people are sending me positive messages, but they're not commenting on the post or they're not sharing the post.
Right.
At least they're not sharing it or posting in a negative way. So that's how I look at it.
Hmm.
So in your live streams, what I only catch like a few minutes of it because I got 3 kids and like dinner and
Yep.
all this stuff. And I know we're pretty much on a different time zone, I'm pretty sure. You're in like
Hmm.
where are you located? You're like Canada, England, where are you located?
Missouri, the
So, okay,
States.
that's actually my bad. Actually, for some reason, it sounded like you had like kind of like a British hint to your like accent. So I kind of thought maybe it's just like my buddy. Okay, he's Southern, and when I first met him, I thought he was British. So that's on me. I apologize.
Yep.
That's for me for assuming. So I always
No,
thought you
that's
were like
okay. They do
streaming.
sound similar.
That's why I thought you were like. That's why I thought you were late because we are on a different time zone. I was like, oh my gosh. So that's my bad for assuming. So it's cool. We're in the States together. So now that's all
Yes.
off-putting question. Sorry. Did not mean to assume. Um,
No,
what was I
that's
about?
okay.
So, okay, so off that. So in Missouri, you're like way out there. Like you're farther out there. So
Yeah.
you're farm country, right? Farm country? Yeah.
Yes.
So you grew up like in a small town and yet you have all these listeners. So, okay, that's what I want to ask. That's what I want to ask. So you're in a small town, okay? And you have all
Hmm.
these like all these subscribers and stuff. When you start out, like, did you get discouraged at all? Like kind of like what I was talking about. Did you get discouraged thinking like, who's gonna want to listen to me? Like, is anybody gonna like this? Like, is that kind of like your feeling?
Absolutely. Actually, growing up, feeling special was never something for me. The way I grew up, that was just not something that I ever felt like I was going to experience. So when I did start taking off on TikTok, I got nervous all the time that like people weren't gonna like me, even if my videos were getting views. So I got discouraged all the time. And then people started telling me how much they really liked the kid voice, and that took off. And all of the discouragement just went away. Like whether I get 10 likes or 10,000 likes, at this point, I'm just so grateful for a platform that I just have an area on. But I was discouraged a lot in the beginning just because my hometown is not It's not that great with the drama. You know how it is. I was always
Yeah.
nervous people would make fun of me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I totally get it because I live in a small town in the middle of Pennsylvania. Not in the middle, but like I'm in Pennsylvania, and it's literally like
In Pennsylvania.
it's Pennsylvania. It's like podunk, and I'm like, people like are constantly
Right.
making fun of me, even at my work. Like they're like, "Oh yeah," like I remember the one manager
Yep.
who doesn't work there anymore. He was like, "Oh, you have a show? That's so stupid." And I'm like, "Yeah, but people listen to it." And the one guy was a Twitch streamer. He
Mm-hmm.
worked with me, and he was like, he had 12 like followers, 12 subscribers. And he was always making fun of my show. I'm like, dude, I have like at the time 300 like listeners. And he was like,
Right.
oh, how, well, what do you, and I was like, well, listen to it one time, like check it out. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like I got self-conscious about my voice, and then I got equipment and I got stuff. And I was like, man, my voice still sounds stupid. And I don't think anybody's gonna listen to me. And then I started getting people listening to me. And then like the numbers started going up and up and up. And I'm just like, but, like, why? Like, who wants to listen to me? And so I kinda get where you're coming from. It's like, you come from a small
Yep.
town, you're like, you think people are gonna make fun of you, and then you're like especially for me, like, walking around now, I'm just like I walk into the grocery store and people like I'm like, "I know this person's judging me because 'cause they're like" but they don't know, like, I have this show, I have books, I have kids, I'm
Mm-hmm.
a like, my family is, like, very influential in the community, like, it's like, you wouldn't guess that, and people who don't know me would not see that. Like, we have
Right.
a big family business, like, and stuff, like, but people wouldn't, see that normally. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I kinda get where you're coming from on that because it's like,
Right.
are they judging me because it's like or it's people who know me, like, I know they're judging me because like, I know people in my life are like, "Why is he still doing that show? Why is he still doing this?" And it's like, but I'm a go-getter. I like to set goals, and, like, I know people are, like, looking at you and they're like, "Oh, she's got TikTok. She's one of those people." But yet, do they have
Yep.
thousands of followers? No. So, yeah.
No.
So what are your goals? What are your goals to set for like this content? Like I know you said you got that scary bear voice. Like I know you've got this like
Yeah.
teacher thing. What else do you want to do? Like what are your goals like to get farther?
Honestly, my goals are genuinely just to keep building my portfolio with those small businesses, but in those companies, animation. But I'm gonna be honest, I want to work on a big project. I want to be the voice behind an animation like the Rugrats or, Turning Red, those kind of movies. I want to be the voice behind that. I want to be a voice that like every company wants because they don't have, I'm an adult with a kid voice. I just really want to live comfortably doing voice acting. It's like the voice of EG from Tommy Pickles. She is my oh, I want to be her so bad.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great goal. I think honestly you have what it takes to like for me, coming from me, look, I know
Thank you.
I'm just this guy who lives in Pennsylvania,
No,
but
it
I
means a
think you
lot.
have the voice that I think that if Disney or Pixar or um any animation studio would be glad to have because it's like I honestly if you told me like if I was like, "Hey, I'm glad you went on my show," and you're like a month later like, "Hey, I'm on this big thing." Like I'd be like, "Tell me where it's at." Like I want to listen to it. Like I would just love it. Like I'd be like listening. I'm like, "That's her. That she went on my show." And
That's
I'd be
her.
able to brag that she went on my show. Like and that'd be really cool. No, I think that you should
Oh,
definitely shoot for those goals. Keep like sending applications to these places. Like do it
always.
because like you never know. Like even for me, like some big guests that have gone on my show, like even you, like when I reached out to you, like I've reached out to YouTubers and I like Lindsay Sterling, if you know who she is, like I reached
Yes.
out to her and she messaged back and she said at this time I'm on tour, maybe in the future. And I was like, what? Like you're going to like I was like, that
No
is so cool.
way.
Yeah. So I was like really like I was geeking out because Lindsay Sterling like is like my like YouTube crush. Like she like I
That's
marry
so
her in a heartbeat. Yeah.
exciting.
So it's like she's like really cool. And I was like, the fact that she took the time to email back and even was her team, the fact that they let her know that I was interested was really
Right.
cool. It's just like Olin Rogers. I've been like hounding like to like try and get him on my show and like I haven't heard a thing from
Yes.
him. I'm just like all these people to get on my show. It's just like, yeah, like they're big time stars, but like maybe they'll once like they'll see it and they'll be like, hey, like not right now, or
Yes.
like I'm not interested. The fact that they would reach out to me and like I was just like, even if you had sent me back like a no, I would have been like, oh my gosh, well, Frankie still like said like no to me. Like the fact she took time to read my email. So that
She
is
still said no.
it's just so cool because like someone like you who has this like really cool voice like I think it's just like a great thing to have to put on like
Thank you.
TV or something. Like, I think this would be wonderful if you had like a shot at that.
Thank you.
So
That's so nice.
what do you like? Do you like use this voice in like Twitch streams? Do you do you like prank people? Like, do you use it other than TikTok? Like, I kind of have to know because like I feel like I know like there's some guys on Twitch who are like they'll use the female voices they have, which I think is hilarious. I watch their
Yes.
TikToks and they'll like prank people, and then you're like, is this a 7-year-old kid playing on Twitch? Like, I mean, I don't know. Do you like prank people? Like, sometimes do you use it to like your advantage at like stores or like when you're at the coffee shop when you're ordering? I have to know. I have to know.
Yes. Sometimes on TikTok Live, I do prank calls, where I basically will just I'm gonna reenact it. I will go call and be like,
Hey, your daughter said that you're gonna fight my dad. You can't do that.
you know, like, or when like like the 1-800 numbers call you for debt
Yeah.
collectors. Oh yeah, I'd be I'd be getting them. I'll
Oh my
answer
gosh.
and I'll just be like,
Dad, I thought you were gone. Mom said you left.
and
Oh my
they
gosh,
can't
that's so
stand it.
funny. I love it. I love it. I sometimes will like I've not recently done it because I just start blocking these calls because I like get so sick of it. But I remember one time I not answered in the Spanish because I was doing a Spanish voice and it was so funny, like Hispanic, and they were like, wait, hello, hello. And even the ones where it's like an Indian person, I'm like, no, I don't speak your language. And he's like, I'm speaking English. And it's like I mess with them. It's fun to mess with those people because it's like they're trying to scam you out your money. And
The
it's fun to
sick
mess with them.
ones.
But if I had your voice, oh my gosh,
It's so
I
much
would
fun.
have a blast. I would be
It's so
on
much fun.
Twitch stream and stuff. Yes, yes. Okay, so let me check our time real quick and make sure see what time we're at. We have 7 minutes left. So I want to ask you one question I ask everybody at the end of the show before I end the show. When you first got started in doing this and you're kind of all these followers on TikTok now, is there something you wish you had told younger you that would have got your butt kicked sooner to do this sooner?
Absolutely. Genuinely just like stop doubting yourself and stop listening to people that don't like the voice. Oh, sorry.
You're
Um,
fine.
Stop listening to people that don't like the voice and
Yeah.
stop taking their opinions over the positive ones.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, because that's where I was at. I feel that because I
Mm-hmm.
literally was like, people are like, "Oh, you're not good enough for a podcast. Your voice is so squeaky," or, "Oh, like who's gonna listen to you? You have nothing to talk about." I'm like, "But okay," and I started doubting myself, and I was in this marriage that I was literally like feeling like I wasn't good enough, and I was like, and I constantly felt like what I was doing with my books, with my podcast, with the YouTube channel, with anything I did was just not good enough. And I had people
Right.
around me telling me I wasn't good enough. And so I started like taking those people out of my life, blocking them on Facebook, like
Yeah.
removing them, stopped listening to them. And I was like, as soon as that started happening, I started putting people in my life that were positive. It was like,
Mm-hmm.
it started taking off. And I was like, I started getting more confident in my like speaking. And I
Mm-hmm.
actually, this girl, Tiffany Hanner, we wrote books together. Um, she when we met on and she went on my show, like I remember like talking to her and she was like, you have such a voice, like you have such your ideas are great. I remember like I was in my marriage, I was like, yeah, but I don't think they are. She's like, you need to share more of you. So I wrote 2 more books and the podcast has been taking off. And like I remember like just she's like this big like influencer on like Instagram. And it was like the fact that and she said, "I wanna be friends with you." And the fact that some influencer wanted to be friends with me, that just
Right.
blew my mind. So, yeah, we still talk, and actually, I have, like, a model I'm friends with, like, she, like, is a plus size model, and she had, like, 1,000 some followers, and she went on my show. It's
Woo.
just so cool that I get to meet people like, like you, who are, like, these big time TikTok stars. I consider you a TikTok star, just so you know. Um, a TikTok star, and you wanna go on my small show and just, like, take time to, like, talk to me and get to know my listeners and
Yeah.
stuff. That's so cool. Well, Frankie, thank you so much for coming on the show. It has been an honor. I just wanna let you know, for all listening, I do have a new subscription-based, platform, through Anchor. It's only available on Spotify currently, so just if you have Spotify, and you want to support the show and you want to pay to listen to extra content, it's called Let's Talk After Dark, and you want to listen and pay for that and have like Frankie is actually, there's gonna be a clip where I'm going to talk about Frankie on this about my experience with talking to her, and there's gonna be clips where I'm going to like explain more about that with you guys. Please tune in. It's going to be on the show tonight. It's going to be after dark. If you want to subscribe, it's there. There's links in the bio. So thank you so much for subscribing, for those who actually have started subscribing. Thank you for all who listen, and thank you for all who follow me. Frankie, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was a blast.
Thank you. I had so much fun.
Thank
We'll
you
have
so
to do
much.
it again.
Yes, definitely. When you get your first gig and on like a TV show, I'm gonna reach out to your publicist or whoever you got, and I'm like, look,
Immediately.
I want you to go on my show again. I want to talk about this. Thank you
You're
so much.
on the list.
Yes,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.